Do you want to hear about my childhood friend?
Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah, you do? Okay.
I'd love to hear
Okay.
about your childhood friend.
It's a little stuffed animal named
Okay.
Homer, but I couldn't say Homer when I was young, so I'd call him Homered, like Homered, which is not a name, I don't think. I'm
No, I've
sorry
never
if your name. I'm sorry if somebody out there if your name is Homered,
I've
but
I've never heard the name I've never heard the name Homered, but here on Save Your Game, we love all names and all people.
we love all names, especially a little stuffed dog.
A stuffed dog. Yeah, what kind of dog?
He's like this little rag doll, and he looks like a basset hound. And I've had him
Aw.
forever. It was a gift given to my dad by my brother for like Father's Day or something. It was like from the Hallmark store. And poor little me just fell in love with this stuffed dog. And so I brought this stuffed dog everywhere. Dude, I have professional photos with me holding the stuffed dog named Homer or Homered. And a cute little story, if I may.
Please.
So I used to drive down to Oklahoma with my aunt. We would drive down because she had a lake house out there, and her best friends lived down there. So she would go every year, every summer, spend a lot of time out there, and we would drive down. And I, of course, brought Homered with me, and it started like just torrential downpour
Mhm.
and thundering. And I looked at my aunt and I said, Homered is really scared.
I didn't have the one. I'll tell you the one stuffed animal I remember, and it's a kind of a strange one. But before that, I had a blankie that I loved.
Blanky.
Yeah, and I also couldn't. I guess I couldn't say blankie, so it was Bankay,
Aw.
and I would just bring it everywhere, and until it got completely ratty. And I remember this one time. I guess it was knitted by my great grandmother, who was getting real old by that point.
Uh-huh.
And I remember being in an Acme parking lot, and it was a very windy day, and I took out Bankay, and the wind took it, and my parents couldn't catch it in time, and we lost the blanket. Um,
You lost a full on blanket?
yeah, it seems strange by now. I mean, I'm sure it was like by then it was tatters, right?
Sure. Yeah, it's like, yeah, just like a floaty piece of paper by then.
So my great grandmother, my post 90-year-old great grandmother, crocheted me a new one.
Oh my God, that's so
It was
sweet.
like red, white, and blue. I loved it. I carried it everywhere. The one stuffed animal I remember most is in the 1996, the Summer Olympics. I don't know if you remember this. There was a very controversial mascot called Izzy.
Okay.
He was just this weird blue thing with Sonic the Hedgehog kind of like big red sneakers
Okay.
and big eyes and like electric like lightning bolts for eyebrows like floating above his head, and he's got big Mickey Mouse like white gloves on. He's called
Uh-huh.
Izzy. And I loved him. I didn't know he was controversial at the time.
Okay. Oh,
I
that thing. I looked at Yeah,
Yeah,
I do remember that.
I loved Izzy, and I had a stuffed animal, Izzy, and I think that was the stuffed animal that's the stuffed animal I remember most from my childhood.
Really? Not like a teddy bear or
No, I had
a
Izzy.
beanie
Again, I
baby?
didn't. No, I wasn't. Well, Beanie Babies were a little later, and I wasn't a huge Beanie Baby fan, but
I had so many beanie babies,
that would have been your
and I'm older than you.
preteen era.
It was like 1995, 96.
Okay.
So I don't know. That's when it started. I don't know. I love my little beanie babies. I still have a couple.
I also did have a giant Gumby. Oh, here's a cute story. I had a giant Gumby stuffed animal. I have no idea where we got it. I feel like maybe my dad won it at some carnival or something,
Hmm.
but it was bigger than me. and I would fight him. I would go into the basement where I would play all the time. We had like a finished basement, and I would just wrestle with my big Gumby. And my parents tell a story of one time I came upstairs and I was telling them all about my fight with Gumby, and I was like, and I kicked Gumby 10 times, and Gumby kicked me 0 times, and I punched Gumby 8 times, and Gumby punched me 0 times, and I tackled Gumby 13 times, and Gumby tackled me 0 times, and I knocked Gumby down 12 times, and Gumby only knocked me down once.
So basically, you have not changed at all.
It is a good punchline. I wish if I had done that to be funny as a kid, like that is an incredible punchline for a little child.
It's really good.
So this was a really wholesome discussion we had.
This is a very pleasant conversation. Thank you for that.
Which is good, because this rest of this episode is going to be about fucking.
Let's talk about dicks.
Hey, everybody.
Oh my god.
Hey. It's Whoa.
What? Why? Why? Sorry, it's haunted. I didn't do that. I didn't do that, Matt. I don't know what's going on.
Look, it's episode 69. and it's spooky month.
Okay, you promised me spookiness, not creepiness.
Well, creepiness is the only way to. Hi, I'm Matt Allcamp. I'm the host of Save Your Game. This is my co-host, Pushing Up Roses.
Hi.
Well, okay, try to do both. Well, there's plenty of role models for you for which to do this, so I bet you could do it easier.
I could make it sexy.
That's what I'm saying. Try to do sexy plus spooky, and try to do it in a way that doesn't come across creepy. And then I was thinking, well, you do have like Barbarella. Like you do have. There are female role models.
Are you saying that you think I was inspired by Barbarella?
No, I'm saying there.
What are you saying here?
I'm saying you could do a spooky, sexy voice. There have been spooky, sexy voices before.
I could do a ghostly, spooky ghost that might want to fuck you.
But what's a spooky sexy voice for a man besides just being creepy?
Like Dracula.
Hello.
No.
Hello. Welcome to episode 69.
It almost did it for me until you went like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I don't know how to. Reason. Yeah, I can't. Well, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Doesn't he come from the Transylvania area?
He's a vampire.
Welcome to episode 69.
69.
Okay, what's your you welcome people then.
I think it's just gonna be too sexy.
They can take it. It's but it's also gotta be spooky.
Okay, I could try to do a Transylvania like
You have to start with blah, because that's the only way to get into it. Blah.
That makes me laugh, though. Hello. Welcome to episode 69. And then see, I would bite you. I can't do that. I can't bite anyone through the screen, and that's what would make it spooky.
Everybody pinch yourself on the neck and imagine it is Pushing Up Roses biting you.
I bite hard. Real hard. I'm sorry. This whole episode is going to be like this. I'm so sorry.
There's nothing we can do about it. It's not our fault that episode 69 fell during Spooky Month.
What were we even going to do for 69 anyway? We were going to do something. Probably a Leisure Suit Larry game.
I don't think we talked about it. We hadn't talked about it at all. And then we didn't notice it until after we had started planning Spooky Month.
I'm
And
sorry,
so it was,
who didn't notice it? Who noticed it first, Matt?
I thought I did.
You did.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not taking any responsibility. That's what I'm saying. I'm not taking responsibility for this.
For noticing. So you don't want you want the people to think that you just don't notice when 69 flies past you.
I don't notice.
Here's the thing I want to talk about.
Okay.
I was thinking about 69 this week.
Of course.
And I was realizing that it's wrong.
Okay. Why is it wrong?
It's not morally wrong. Although it's not that great of a sexual position.
It's a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's not.
Like here's the thing. This is my hot take, right?
Okay.
You have to think about, there's logistics involved.
Yes.
Like,
it doesn't happen naturally.
It does not. No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
I've been in a situation where it happened naturally, but it's very rare. Well, it's just like if you
were you like, oops, I crawled up you the wrong angle, but since we're here anyway. Like,
no, it's like no, it's just like if you happen to be, if you're doing a thing and you get sort of uncomfortable, so you shift positions and you're like, oh, hey, you know what's within reach now of my face. How do
you shift position that dramatically to where
if you're like next to each other? If you're like next to each other.
I don't buy it, but go on.
If you're like next to each other, everyone at home's picturing it and they're laughing at you. No,
Moses doesn't know how to 69.
Let's get that hashtag trending, folks. No,
I'm just saying it's a little uncomfortable. You have to play.
No, I
unless you're Matt, apparently.
I agree. That's what I started out as saying, is that it's not, and plus where your noses have to end up is not like. It's not the most. It's not the place that you want a nose to be. Okay, listen. Not the point. That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant by 69 is wrong. What I meant is that okay. For gay couples, especially cisgendered gay couples, let's say, 69 makes sense.
Okay.
Because you have a hole on one end.
Oh, dear God.
And the thing that inserts into the hole on the other, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if you're a lesbian couple, for example, you have a tongue on one end.
Uh-huh.
And the burgiba on the other end.
Okay.
If you're a gay couple, you have the mouth on one end and the boingus on the other end.
Okay.
So looks like the number 69 in both those instances. Looks like 69, right? But if you're a straight cis couple, it's more like C8.
Okay, so you're trying to make the visual of literally the number 69 look realistic?
Roses, that's literally the point. That's why it's called 69.
It's just two people. It's that you don't see their bits.
That is their bits.
That's not their bits.
That's their bits.
It's not their bits.
That's their
the
bits.
People. Nope. It's the heads.
That's head and body. But why is the body smaller than the head?
Don't judge.
No, I think it's the bits. I've always thought that it was the bits, and then I haven't thought too much about it beyond that.
I haven't thought about it ever until just now.
It's
because I'm not pedantic. I
think we should call it C8ing.
Okay, C8ing. It sounds
if you're
not
cisgendered, straight couple, you don't 69, you C8.
Okay, and if you agree with me, just go ahead and tell me so Matt can feel like a turd. They're not the bits. They're just the bodies.
It's the bits. I think it's supposed to be the bits.
It's not the bits. It's the bodies. I will die on this hill.
What? Who's murdering you over this?
I will die on this hill. Anyway, what a great intro.
This is, like you said, this is going to be the whole fucking episode. What are we supposed to do? What are you supposed to do when your podcast hits episode 69 but this?
Anything else?
Okay, you go ahead.
Literally anything.
You go ahead. You go ahead then.
Go ahead and what?
You go ahead. You go ahead. Tell us how we're supposed to handle.
Oh, well, I was just gonna, my suggestion was just gonna be a retrospective podcast on the putt-putt adventure games. I didn't even think anything naughty. I don't know what's wrong with you. I love me some putt-putt.
It would have been a pretty good bit if in the middle of Spooky Month on episode 69, instead of doing either of those types of content, we just did a retrospective on the putt-putt games.
On the putt-putt game. Just the putt-putts. Not any of the other humongous entertainment, just the putt-putts.
I have this half impulse to say, like, let's stop recording and instead restart and do a retrospective on the putt-putt.
We're not. No, you made me play this game.
The problem is we played the worst game of all time.
I'm committed to it
so
now.
So we have to, like, if we don't make art out of that, then that was a waste of a lot of my brain.
Yeah, can't ever get that back.
No, it's gone for good.
It's gone forever, and it's in my brain. Oh my god, it's gonna take so long to replace these memories, if ever. Like we'll be 90 years old doing this podcast, and I'll be like, I can't believe we played this game.
Now, okay? Did you play any other games this past week?
Fuck no. I had such a hard time with this game. I really did.
Yeah.
I really had a hard time with this game.
Yeah.
And so I did focus. I did want to play another game, actually. Oh, you know what, though? I told a little fib. I have been playing.
I kind of thought you did, because I thought I saw something on Steam. A little something on Steam.
What, did you see me playing Quest for Glory?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. Even afterwards, I was like, I'm going to play some more. And yeah, I
really wanted to be playing Quest for Glory all week. And instead, I kept like forcing myself to play this fucking game. I even tried. There's other games I tried to play this week. I tried to play Pippistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo.
Ooh, I love a cursed yo-yo moment.
And I got, I only played about 15 minutes of that.
Okay.
It seems fine. I'll probably talk about it later. I tried to play Centum.
Mm-hmm.
Very fucking confusing game. Very odd.
Yeah.
And and then I played some Silksong this week. But like, I just kept having to hammer away at this fucking game.
Same. It got tough, and we'll talk more about our experiences when we kind of get out of this little second intro part.
Right.
I do feel like we should maybe put like a little warning. All of our episodes are explicit,
yes.
But they're explicit in the way that yes, we do swear. Maybe I'll make a little raunchy joke. I think if you're a longtime viewer of my channel, you know that I do that already. And also I'm fairly, with no shame, a fairly sexual liberated person. I have an OF. Like, I'm fine with talking candidly about this. But if you're only on my channel or only on my Instagram, and maybe you don't see those things, and maybe that's not for you. Maybe hearing the chaste, white as snow, innocent and pure, pushing up roses. Maybe you don't want to hear me talking about bits and bobs, and that's fine.
Yeah.
This is not the episode for you. But if you do
Agreed.
like that, this is the episode for you.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Well, okay. Why don't we just say the content? So we've been talking a little bit in a very jokey way about sex up till now. We're going to have to talk kind of explicitly about sex later in this episode when we talk about this game. And I'm just going to list off the content warnings.
Do it. Yeah. List them.
So sex, sexual assault, violence, gore, uh, bathroom stuff.
No, I don't like bathroom stuff. Yeah.
When I say sex, I mean we're going to be talking a lot about sex and sexual things.
Yeah.
And a cross section of sex and violence in a pretty heavy way.
I do want to also
I
talk
guess
about it
drug use a little bit too.
I would say that's not doesn't matter as much as these
Right.
other things, but
And sexual assault up to and including rape. I
correct.
should say that explicitly.
Yeah, correct. I do want to talk about this in an artistic way because I think just as an artist, did you know I'm an artist? As an artist, even in my own work, you'll probably notice I actually do a lot of body horror work, which kind of combines, eroticism sometimes with violence and things of that nature. So I think there is merit to talking about eroticism as an art in an art. I think there's merit in talking about that candidly and intelligently.
I'll also say we're going to be doing some pretty heavy spoilers, but before, I think we should just say, in case you don't want to listen to that segment and you are still I don't know why both these things would be true at the same time. In case you're curious, in case you don't want to listen to us talk about it, but you are interested in this game, we should just give spoiler-free, non-explicit reviews before we move to the next segment. The game is called Lust from Beyond. It is the sequel to a game called Lust for Darkness. It's number 2 in what's supposed to be a trilogy. The last game is supposed to be called Lust for God. I thought it was supposed to have been out by now, but it's not. I don't follow this series very closely.
Yeah.
Why don't you say your review and then I'll say mine, and then maybe we can throw on 69 Reno.
Oh, nice. See what you did there. Sure. Here's my very brief, spoiler-free and less explicit review.
Mm-hmm.
This is a first-person hybrid game with adventure elements and action elements. So, think first-person shooter. Think there's some stealth there as well. I did not like this game. I wanted to like it because it has a quality about it. It was made in Unity, so it is 3D. And there is, in certain parts of this game, a vibe, a cozy vibe, if you will. However, that cozy vibe is squashed with these huge grand settings of like squelchy, Giger-esque, Cthulhu-esque worlds, let's say. They're big and expansive. There's a lot of purple going on. And I found the game extremely clunky. I found it difficult to navigate. I had to turn off the head bobbing because first person games, they kind of make me a little nauseous. And even then, even after turning it off, because it is such a stimulating game and not in the way that you want it to be stimulating. So much on your brain and on your senses. The music is a little obnoxious. The voice acting is a little obnoxious. The settings are very stimulating. It is just a lot. It's almost info overload. And on top of that, extremely convoluted plot, which we'll talk about. It is not a sexy game. It is an erotic game. And I think eroticism can be anything that kind of rouses you and provokes sexual excitement, right? Whether or not it is sexy or not. I don't think this game is sexy, and I wish it was. It's also way too long. I do know what the ending is, but I didn't finish it because I was getting so sick playing it. I got like 8 hours in, but ultimately this is a 10 to 12 hour game if you've not played it before. And yeah, also some survival horror elements. However, those survival horror elements, they're kind of actiony. There's like maybe one part where you're stealthing. I like stealthing in video games. I think it's fun. But the other parts, the actiony parts, are just moving fast, and I don't personally, I don't subscribe that to survival horror. Do you?
Action and survival horror, sometimes a little bit. I mean, Resident Evil and Silent Hill both were action.
Yeah.
But, the my bigger problem with the stealth versus the action is the stealth doesn't work. Everyone knows exactly where you are at all times.
I got
And
through listen, I
if
got through a section without getting captured, and I was stoked. I was so excited.
which so we'll talk about it later.
Sure,
Um
sure.
yeah, I think this game sort of fails to succeed in any of the things it's trying to do. I couldn't, like, if you like sexy games, it's not a very arousing game,
Right.
to put it mildly. I'm trying to put it mildly, um, specifically because of the parameters of this.
Mhm.
So yeah, this game is really grating in a lot of different
Mhm.
ways. The gameplay is grating. I didn't have any problem with the music, like you said, and actually a lot of the voice acting's good, but I didn't like the the script is pretty bad, and the main character is really kind of obnoxious. So even
Yeah.
though a lot of the other voices are fine or even good, his voice, which again, his voice acting is fine. It's just he's an unlikable character from the very beginning, and
Yeah.
so I he was unpleasant to spend an entire game with. Um, and the sound effects, just the
Walking on
constant
cornflakes.
squelching
Yep.
and crunching
Yeah.
and weird dripping noises or horrible. This game is horror
Yes.
100%, but it is not scary until some segments in within the last hour. A couple
Okay.
segments in the last hour
I
are
think I
probably the
think
only
being
times that this game was scary.
in the beginning when you go to Bleakmore, I found some of that kind of scary because it
Oh,
reminded me.
okay.
Yeah, it
When the
reminded me
setting
of
sort of starts appearing, when the setting
yeah,
sort of starts unraveling and you start seeing what it is going to be.
yeah. Like the initial parts of the survival horror, I thought had
Yes.
some tense moments to it.
Yeah, and
And you're right, there's nothing blatantly scary. It's more very tense, you
there's a
know?
lot of tension in this game for
Yeah,
sure. But yeah, again, just as it fails to be particularly sexy, it also fails to be particularly scary.
right.
Though it is an erotic game and it is a horror game. Yeah, mostly I think this game this game is going to give you a headache more than it gives you any other sort of feeling.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I'm going to leave it
Okay.
for now.
Yes.
I guess I just recommend against playing it. I just don't think it's a very good. I don't think it's a very good. I think the
Yeah.
tedium of the game will make it unenjoyable, even if the sensory stuff doesn't bother you. And I
Yeah.
think the sort of blandness of the rest of it just makes it not sort of worth the 10 hours you're going to spend.
Yeah. And in general, I like erotic media. I will say I think this had potential to be something kind of good. I think what really got me was the mechanics. I felt like I was walking around the majority of the time not doing anything. And again, since I tend to get kind of ill with those first person, that's not good. Like
Right.
it's not good for me. So and even though it's not sexy, I do appreciate an attempt at bringing like an erotic horror thing to light. And
Right.
the one thing I'll say about this game is that it's very clear to me that the devs, whether their plot was a convoluted mess or not, it was to me, it's clear they put a lot of thought into the world and what they were and making statements, and they're trying to say something and really make almost like
Yes.
a piece of art. You know what I mean? Something that was
Yeah.
more artful. I can tell that's there. It
And
just didn't work for me.
you know, while the game is definitely trying to be shocking, it's trying to be shocking for what it considers to be a reason. I don't know that I
Yeah,
necessarily agree, but it's trying to be shocking for what it feels like is the purpose of the story and the theme of the game. And it doesn't take a lot of cheap shots
right,
in the sense of this game isn't laughing about this stuff.
right.
Um,
Oh, it's taking it dead serious. Like it's
yeah,
yeah,
I
it's a serious game.
yes, I think there's a lot of times games of this ilk, both horror and sexual games tend to, because they are quote unquote mature, they take that opportunity to make, really crass, crude jokes and,
Yeah.
just inject what they, label as satire, but is generally just indulgence.
Yeah.
I think even though this game is deeply profane, I'm not sure it's indulgent.
I don't think it's I agree. I don't think it's indulgent. And I don't think it's even cheap. I think that because there's like this very serious nature,
Yeah.
and kind of, again, it's a convoluted plot, and I don't like it, but it is a serious plot. Um, they're not, it's not even, they're not even really exploiting anything. Like, I've played far many more gratuitous games than this game. I really feel like they were just trying to bring more artistic themes and visions to light. It's just hard to do that in a 3D game.
Right.
It's hard to take that seriously, you know?
I think it. Yeah, I don't know. I have a feeling it could be done. I don't think that. I don't think that this was particularly successful at it.
Yeah.
So, all right. Those are sort of, we did this sort of backwards, and we, like I said, we were doing that on purpose. That is our sort of wrap up thoughts about this game. If you just want to know our opinions on this game, why don't, again, we throw on Spooky Sexerino and we'll do a little bit more of a dive. I don't know how deep, but we'll do a little bit more of a dive into Lust from Beyond. Roses.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Save Your Game. I'm one of your hosts, Pushing Up Roses. With me, as always, the super roused.
Whoa.
I was trying to make it sexy. I failed, just like the
I'm
game.
And spooky. I'm fucking a werewolf, everybody.
Ew.
What?
It's just a lot of hair. Yes, this is my co-host, Matt Ockamp. Matt, how was your break?
It was perfect. It was everything
Fucking
I needed it to be.
Apparently.
I got to stop talking about Lust from Beyond for a few minutes. I'm like legitimately just excited for this episode to be done because, look, I don't think we're going to have a bad conversation about this game. I think there are things to be discussed.
Yeah.
But this game was, it's like, in a lot of different ways, I don't think of myself as prudish, but in a lot of different ways, I found this game nauseating, and I, because of the stuff we've said so far, like it was just an assault on the senses at all times. You spend a lot of this game. We'll get to it. You spend a lot of this game in this unearthly realm of ecstasy called Lustka. That's all reds and pinks and purples and blues. And is also supposed to be like purely biological, like you're in the body of some god.
Yeah, it's like living. It's a living setting. It's organic looking,
and there's like there's like intestines on the floor, and sometimes just like piles of brown on the floor.
I know. I'm like, what is that? I was like, what is this stuff?
I feel like it was shit, right? Like they don't. I don't know. And then jutting out of the wall. So like a lot of the rooms are ribbed as if like it's the inside of your mouth or the inside of a vagina. Like we're gonna get really explicit here.
Yes,
folks.
everything is very phallic or yonic.
Yes, there's just like outcroppings on the walls look exactly like a vagina or like you said, phallic. There's not that much that it's like that is a legitimate human penis or a legitimate human vagina, but it is like that is a horror construct that is shaped 98% like a penis or a vagina.
And it's still explicit. You know, the way it's designed is
You
still
couldn't
explicit.
mistake
Whether
it.
it's whether it's realistic or not, it doesn't matter. It's still, everything is still very wet and slimy, and again, kind of
And
organic and squelchy.
squelches as you
Yep.
walk. It's like it's horrible.
I
And
felt so overly stimulated the whole
yeah.
time.
And the
Yeah.
walls are all dripping and slimy, and there's monsters that run around, and
Yeah.
they're like weird demons with tits and boners and stuff,
Yeah.
and
It's weird.
or they're sloppy sacks of like there's like this one enemy. It's not even an enemy. There's this one creature that wanders around,
Yeah.
and a it's like a liver. It's like a human liver.
Yeah, it looks like an organ. It has like one eyeball.
It's got one eyeball, and it's got one weird hand that juts out of it, and it uses that hand to not just like pull itself, but to slap on the ground.
Yeah.
It slaps its hand on the ground and then drags itself and squelching the entire time.
Oh, they're called I remember what they're called. They're called the enthralled.
Later, you meet some other types of enthralled later. One looks like a testicle with two legs.
Yeah.
It's
And I remember trying to get some kind of lore or backstory on some of these creatures. And I did notice that even though the game is trying to give you a lot of backstory, a lot of lore, there's so many times where the game's like, we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to explain that, where the enthralled really come from.
What are the enthralled? Yeah.
I don't know what they,
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't know. What are they? And so there was this specific point where, we meet another character and she's showing us more of Lustka. She's showing us more of this weird squelchy world. And our character asks her a question, like about the world or about some of the creature. And she's like, I don't want to talk about that right now. I'm like, well, wait a minute. No, I wanted to know what this is.
There is a lot of codex stuff throughout the game. Like you can find a bunch of papers and journals and like book entries, and then those unlock a like a codex that you can get by pressing I forget what button, select or something, and then you can read up on some of this stuff.
Yeah.
But okay, so why don't we go in order? You do start in Lustka, this place, and you start as that character you were mentioning, the character you eventually.
You don't start in Lustka. You start at the in the Cult of Ecstasy, I thought.
I think you're right. You very quickly end up in Lustka, and you're this lady. You're a part of. All you know at that point is you're a part of some sex cult that has access to this weird squelchy dimension.
Yes.
There's not that much you learn here. You just learn basically all the stuff we just told you. There's a squelchy world, and it's gross.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, you're a dude who runs a dusty old antique shop.
You're an antiquarian.
Mm-hmm.
And I got excited, man. I was like, oh my God, strange antiquities. Let's go. I'm going to fill these orders. I was so disappointed when it wasn't like that.
The first thing you do is you fill an order for an old lady, and you have to go, walk around and find the stuff she ordered. And it's just, there's no real mechanics to it. It's just walking. It's just walking around and fetching the things.
Oh, it's so
that
much
are glowing.
walking, guys. It's so if there was ever a time for me to throw out the term walking simulator in a more insulting manner, it would be this. I felt like I walked for more time than actually interacted with stuff. I really believe that. I was mostly walking and running. Oh my God.
I want to be clear. I want to be clear, especially because some weirdly Steam reviews call this or like reference walking simulators.
Right.
You're using that as a pejorative just to make fun of the fact that you walk so much in this game.
Yeah, I'm using it as a criticism.
This game is not a walking simulator.
It is not.
It is a puzzle, stealth, action, survival, horror, sex game.
No, I'm certainly just being snarky because of how much you're
have to
backtracking.
fucking walk. Yeah.
Oh God, it's it's overbearing.
And you
Like
do get
I
to
really didn't
run,
like it. Yeah, you get to
but
run.
and like also these locations are really hard to navigate. Not
They are.
just Luska. Luska is incredibly hard to navigate, but also the other places that you find in the game. Like there's a mansion, and
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I played this game once a long time ago,
Mhm.
sort of as a bit, as a joke with a partner I
Yeah.
had, and so this was my second, and we only got a little bit of the way in, but as such, this was my second time playing some of these scenes. So pretty early on this playthrough, I got really familiar with the shape of this mansion,
Yeah.
but it's hard to get used to the shape of this mansion. It is
It
not
is.
intuitive.
I played
There's
8
like
hours of
two
it and still was like, I don't know where I am.
there's like two wings and
Yeah.
then an entire downstairs, and then there's some like secret areas that some you don't access till later in the game, and then there's an actual secret area that you can solve a puzzle and find all the Kickstarter backers. Regardless, it just means that for as much running around and there is in this game already, which we'll talk about in a second as we keep going through the story, there's even more just because you get lost.
Yeah.
You find out you're this guy named Victor Holloway. You are a snarky, kind of rude, just dudely dude.
Yeah.
There's nothing else very interesting about you. You're just
Yeah.
kind of a dude, and you're setting up for a date with your girlfriend.
So after you fill your order for Mrs. Hudson, who I have already been creating a backstory for her in my brain because I did so much walking around. It's all I could think about. You got to get ready for your date. There's some objectives you got to do. And one of those objectives is putting rose petals just on the floor.
Yeah.
Just the way he does it, he just like chucks it.
He
Like,
grabs a fucking fistful.
I threw it on the ground and he chucks rose petals. And I'm just like, wow, with reckless abandon, I am
Yeah.
throwing these rose petals down. Like you said, it's not like when you reacted when I told you that, you're like, it's not a subtle game. Like nothing
No.
about it is subtle. It's all like intense and kind of campy. But yeah, I got my rose petals on the ground.
Nice.
The protagonist buys his girlfriend a new guitar. I guess she's a musician. Her name is Lily. And, she comes home. She finds all the rose petals and the wine and the guitar. And guess what we do?
Well, so she sends you downstairs she's like, hey, can you go get this?
Oh, okay. Yeah,
can you
you're
go
right.
get my pick out of my backpack? And I remember the first time I played this, I said to the person I was playing with, I was like, what if we just come upstairs and she's completely nude?
And she was.
Yeah. And you fuck her. Like,
and then you fuck her.
That's the kind of game it is. And
yeah,
it turns into I think it's safe to call it a rape. It turns into he starts becoming aggressive. She tells him to slow down. He says, "Oh, you mean like this? Like
oh, you mean go faster?
Go faster?" And then she has to stop. She has to stop him. And then you hallucinate. You're back in Lustga for a little bit. You we don't need to go through all the details.
No, we don't need to go through all the
You have sex with this Lily, but it turns out to be Amanda, the person you were playing in the prologue, and then you're back, and then you hit Lily. So
yeah, because you're coming out of a nightmare, you're frightened, so you hit Lily thinking that she is someone else. So you are possessed in this state. Yeah.
Yes. So you get the sense okay, this isn't who he is.
Right. He's an asshole, but he's not. This is definitely he's definitely in a different state of mind, I think.
But it's worth pointing all this out because now you have to play as a character who you've just seen him be snarky at an old woman and make fun of an old woman.
Yeah.
And then you've seen him rape his girlfriend. Then you've seen him, again, in a dream and sort of against his will, cheat on his girlfriend. And then you see him hit his girlfriend. And now you just have to be him. And you're like, fucking, I don't want to. I don't want to.
Yeah. He's not a great character.
This is the inciting action of the game because she sends you to and this all gets subverted later. I'm not going to be shy about spoilers here. Everything that you think is happening here is something different than what is happening, including the rape, including Lily sort of quote unquote innocently sending you to this therapist.
This doctor, yeah.
She sends you off to see this like experimental psychologist, and you get there and the town is deserted.
Yeah. And it's looking bleak, which is why it's called Bleakmore, I assume. Not very subtle, kind of heavy-handed. And yeah, the whole time, the whole time you're driving to Bleakmore to meet up with this doctor, you're on the phone with Lily, just bitching and moaning.
I don't wanna.
But this doctor doesn't help, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
So annoying. And yeah, like you said, you get to this town of Bleakmore. It is deserted. It is scary looking. I feel like it's pretty tense. Like there's some tense. Yes. There's always something tense and scary about an abandoned town in an adventure game, especially when things are dark and a little obscured. I think there's always something a little scary about that.
I agree. I think this is well done horror. There's little bits here where like people at one point you can see like what looks like a doll's face in a window.
That scared me so hard.
When you go over to it, they slam the window really quick.
Oh my gosh, it scared me.
When you walk over to there's some windows and some doors you can walk over and you hear like soft crying. Yep. There's, clearly everybody is hiding from something.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
tenseness is scary. It is well done in this particular section of the game. This is probably from this part to about mid part, I think was pretty okay.
This is probably when you texted me, why do I like this game?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was after, the antique store and like, discovering this town, and it goes on. It gets okay. It's okay for a little while. It gets kind of actiony. And I think I then texted you like, this is way too actiony for my liking.
The problem with this section is just like you were saying, you're running around so much. Like the problem with this section is basically everything is so spread out. Yeah. And the town is hard to navigate. And again, so much is closed off to you.
Yeah.
That you're just kind of like, you run for a really long time and you find a spot and you're like, oh, I think I discovered something. And then it's locked behind a puzzle and you're like, okay, I guess I gotta go run around a lot more. And then you find something else and it's locked behind another puzzle. There are secrets. There's some secret rooms. There's some secret lore written down in pages that you can find. There are secret collectibles that you can get. They're very hard to find. It's very hard to find. Some of them are easy, but it's hard to find all of them.
I would say the puzzles aren't even that difficult, which is good. That's always nice. I'm always a little apprehensive about these kind of 3D first person games. And just like, what kind of bullshit, but they're relatively okay. I would say I didn't struggle too hard with these puzzles. Some of them were even kind of fun, I dare say. But again, it's just overrode by a lot of other not fun things.
So to fast forward kind of through this whole area, the therapist, you basically start to realize that, I think I realized that there was something violent and sexual about this festival. Yeah. And that's why people were hiding pretty early on. Yeah. And like, everything's creepy. Like you go, the therapist's office is closed, and so you have to try and you have to try to call him. Yeah. This puzzle was kind of stupid. You use a ancient coin.
I know. Like there's a payphone, and there's like only a payphone, and your phone is dead for some reason, and you don't have a phone. It's very unrealistic, guys, but this is how they're going to do the closed circle trope for this is your phone is dead. You don't have the charger on you. You got a payphone. You don't have any coins, but what you do have is an ancient coin from your antique store, and somehow it's the right size and you were able to call the doctor with this ancient coin.
Yeah, and and then you end up staying in some hotel. The hotel has pictures of him all over it and a really creepy like bellhop.
Yeah, the
Um
bellhop is crazy. We should say that we do get in touch with the doctor and we miss our appointment that night. And
yes.
he's apologetic and he's like, "No, I
He
really need you, but you should still come see me tomorrow. You should stay the night in a hotel. We'll put you up."
he wants to see us that night and we
Right. And
say,
we're tired.
"No,
Yeah.
I'm tired." And we're like on the verge of heading home.
Yeah.
And he's like, "No, actually, the appointment just opened up tomorrow."
Yeah,
So
at
so
like
again,
7 a.m., which is like insane, by the way.
so again, not subtle. These are tropes you've seen 100,000 times before.
Yeah. You go to bed and you kind of dream you're in Lustka. And
Yeah.
I think that's when you have sex with the other character.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Because you know why I remember? Because he
Hmm.
wakes up with a little something
Yeah,
on his hand.
that's what I'm saying. You have to look at
Yeah.
actual jizz.
Yeah.
It sucks. Um, it's like, hey, here's a 3D artist spent a week drawing this jizz. Enjoy.
I get enough of that in my real life. I don't have to see it in video games too.
so,
Sorry.
so then you get woken up by these weird festival goers
In
who,
quotes, right? Because I
yeah,
feel like at this point you are being you mean the first time you wake up or the second time?
second time you're
Okay,
getting
got it.
you're being hunted.
You're
You're
being
being
hunted down. Yeah.
you're being hunted down by these people in bondage gear, and that's when you sort of realize, okay, yeah, this whole festival is about this weird deep indulgence in sex and violence and sexual violence.
Yeah.
And it's a sort of thing, if you put candles outside of your window, anybody is allowed to invade your home
Mhm.
and do whatever they want to you. Which, why would anybody volunteer for that? Most of them die.
Yeah, yeah, it's almost a Hellraiser-esque in that way. Is like how much can you actually really handle, but then you end up dying. It's like that blurred line, right, between pleasure and pain, and it's kind of got that vibe. And the gameplay at this point, Matt, I don't know if you've ever played Call of Cthulhu: Dark Corners of the Earth, but
No.
it's an HP Lovecraft. It's based on HP Lovecraft's short story.
You don't say.
Yeah, so Lovecraftian. And in that part of the game and in the story too, with Lovecraft, there's always a weird town with weird fucking people
Yes.
in it. And in that game, you are also hunt down. And it's very similar in that you need to run really fast. You need to close doors, lock doors. You have an insanity meter and a health meter. But I will say that the mechanics are very sporadically used. And we'll talk about that a little bit more when we get to another mechanic they tried to implement. But like, I only took sedatives for my insanity meter a few times.
I ended up doing it a lot more towards the end, but yeah.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
if you're really bad at the game, I guess you could do it more, but it's, yeah.
Yeah. Just like, why? Like, why in this mechanic? I don't, why?
Yeah.
I guess I'm saying I don't think it added anything.
No,
to
I
the
don't
game.
think I don't think these chase sequences weren't fun either.
No.
I
I
can
was
see
frustrated.
what the chase sequences added,
Yeah.
but they weren't enjoyable.
No.
And
No.
yeah, I would have preferred never to have done them.
Yeah.
And so yeah, you're being chased by these sex perverts, and
But they are trying to kill you. They're not trying to have sex with you. They're beating you down with like clubs.
yes, I mean, it's
Yeah.
one of those. I think this is somebody was talking about this in the Discord. By the way, check out our Discord. There's a link in the show notes.
Yeah.
Somebody's talking about this in the Discord today. This idea of ludonarrative dissonance.
Mhm.
And this is one of these ludonarrative dissonance things that always confuses me. Is like when you're in a game and there's some sequence, say a chase sequence like this, and you don't know what the villain's motives are at first,
Yeah.
and you find out later, oh, they're trying to capture me alive
Yes.
for some reason. Like maybe
Yes.
you're scripted to, at the end of the sequence, fail. Something like one of those kind of games.
Yeah.
This is a pretty normal thing to happen in a video game, but if you get caught before the end of the sequence, they kill you.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait a minute. That's not...
Yeah.
Hold on. I know now that I know what the end of this is. Why would they have killed me to begin with? This happens in video games all the time. It's like,
they do try to justify. Oh, okay. Can I?
Please.
Basically, what happens is we at least get out of the realm of being chased by these cultists that are trying to
Yeah.
club you to death. There's a little bit of a stealth part where you're trying to, like, there's they're not guards, they're just the cult people, but there's this lady on stilts, I should
Right,
say. There's like a weird little carnival theme in this setting, and I don't know why.
It is supposed to be a festival. This is a
Yeah, it's supposed
festival
to be
that
a
happens in
festival.
this town in
Yeah.
Bleakmore every year. Oh, and the lady on stilts, I also should say, the first time you see her, you don't kind of know it's a lady on stilts.
Yeah.
It just looks like a big, scary, topless lady monster.
It's scary, yeah. And she just stares at you.
You see her from the balcony, and it's
Yeah.
she's scary.
It's effective. I'll give it some of that. Some of that stuff is very effective.
For sure. Like we said, this is the only scary part of the game until, again, some parts in the last hour. Other than that, the game's not scary. It's just weird.
Yeah.
There's a part that's very funny to me here, which is you have now learned that there's some sort of evil conspiracy happening in this town. You don't know that it's the entire town yet.
Yeah.
I guess Victor's not smart enough to put that together, even though the player definitely has by now.
Yeah.
And then he sees a flyer on the wall that says, something's happening in this theater.
Yeah.
And he's like, I guess that's where everybody in the town is, at the theater. I got to get to the theater.
Instead of jumping in your car and
you have to
your car
sneak
works
past your car. You have to sneak past your car.
I know, I remember seeing it. I'm like, I could leave.
Yeah.
But nope, that's not the objective. The objective is to get to the theater.
Yeah. Completely nonsensical.
Yeah. So at that point, you're stealthing. Well, I mean, hopefully you're stealthing to get there. I actually made it to the theater without getting caught by any of the cultists. I stealthed and crouched down the whole time and made it, and I was pretty happy with myself. And then when you reach the theater, you hear this voice coming at you. You don't know where it's from just yet, but a spotlight is thrown on you, and some woman is like, welcome. We've been waiting for you. She knows your name. And it's this very creepy theater. It's a small stage with very limited but ugly settings on it. If you look up, you see like a cross with some weird bodily stuff on it. And right away, this woman's like, I want you to do stuff for me. Like this, it's becoming a fetch quest now, right? So, but you have to do it within a time constraint. And if you don't, the cultists will come back. They'll start beating on you again.
And these tasks are meant to be shocking and horrifying, right? Like you're just like lighting candles and whatever, but then you're taking severed, not even just limbs, pieces of a body.
Yeah, severed body parts, yeah.
Off of a crucifix they're tied to the crucifix with barbed wire. Mm-hmm. And you're taking them down and putting them in a bin that's labeled fuck toys.
Yes. Yeah.
Like that is the moment where it's like you just have to stop and remind yourself, okay, this game is trying to be shocking. There's no point in my getting offended or my clutching my pearls about it in any way. This game is, because it's trying to.
It's trying to. I also think, though, it's unfortunate because just like that's more of an edgy thing, where I think the majority of the game is trying to be artistically erotic. But I can't take it seriously when I'm putting some hands in a bin that says fuck toys. I wish that if you're going to commit to horror erotic, just commit to the bit. Like, don't make it weird. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's almost jokey, right? Just didn't you feel like a little like kind of laughing at the absurdity?
Yeah, but I think one of the things about this, because so we eventually find out there's two cults. There's the Scarlet Lodge, which is the people who are chasing you right now, and then there's the people in the mansion that the person you play in the prologue, Amanda,
Yeah.
that she was part of is, what's the name of their?
The Cult of Ecstasy.
The Cult of Ecstasy.
Yeah.
These are two warring factions, which we'll eventually
Yeah.
find out. And I think one of the things that is characteristic of each cult is that the Cult of Ecstasy is a little more classy and
Yes.
intellectual, while the Scarlet Lodge, it seems like, for whatever it is that the leader of this cult has, his name is Dr. Austerlitz. We think it's supposed to be some sort of Nazi sort of allegory.
That's
Not
what I get from
allegory.
it.
Not allegory,
Yeah.
reference,
Yeah,
allusion.
reference. That's what I get from it. Yeah.
For whatever intellectual purposes he has, and actually, I guess his purposes are a little more emotional. He was sent to Lustga either against his will or without full knowledge of it, and it drove him kind of insane. And he was sent there with a bunch of other people, and they went even more insane. And so now he wants to shut down Lustga. He wants to destroy it or lock it off forever. And the other people want to use Lustga. Their motives aren't entirely clear, but they want to access Lustga. They believe it's a holy place.
And I think they believe that it is a place of ultimate ecstasy and kind of pleasure, where you can just live out your life and know who you are. And there's something that we should probably say, and we figure this out after we're kind of captured by Dr. Austerlitz, is that we are something called a seeing one.
Oh, yeah.
We have access to Lustga, which is, again, the squelchy, weird, hard to navigate living organy place. We are a special person. We have visions. We are able to see things and get to Lustga and interact with it, and more so than some other people. We're not the only seeing one. So yeah, Austerlitz wants to use our seeing abilities to shut down Lustga. And he doesn't really care what happens to us, by the way.
Yeah, we'll find out that he's done this to other people.
Yeah.
And he has ties to this Cult of Ecstasy. He was once, I think, in the Cult of Ecstasy.
Yeah.
And that's how we got to Lustga and Hump. So anyway, all this to say, back to the fuck toys discussion, it seems as if the Cult of Ecstasy wants to bring people in and share this knowledge and belief system with them.
Yes.
While Austerlitz and the Scarlet Lodge want to entice just a bunch of chuds with sex and violence.
Yeah.
And then use them for their own purposes. Right. So I do get the sense in all of the Scarlet, and we revisit the Scarlet Lodge later, all the Scarlet Lodge segments are where there's the most puerile and gross stuff in the whole game. Yeah. It's where I was forced to get a blowjob while watching a man shit on a woman's chest. While another lady was being suspended in the air, being serviced by a fuck machine.
Yeah.
And another woman was riding a man with her back all torn up and blood streaming down it.
Yeah. And it's very body horror, very body horror, very Hellraiser, very blurring the lines between violence and sexual pleasure. And it's very clear that it was kind of inspired by, at least by Hellraiser. I think
it was inspired by Hellraiser. Yeah, because when we talk about what Lustga is and all that stuff, I think that'll be really clear. I think some of the more disgusting and some of the more puerile stuff is all associated with the Scarlet Lodge.
Yes.
Because these aren't true believers. These aren't people who are in this for higher or intellectual purposes. These are people who like sex and violence. So there's the sort of people who would cut off a bunch of people's arms and legs and torsos and throw them in a bin labeled fuck toys.
Right.
So I do think, as ridiculous as this is to say, I do think the fuck toys bin is plot driven. I think that is
You're right.
I think that is complementary to the themes of the game rather than antithetical,
Right.
but I understand we don't know that. I understand what you're saying because we don't know that when we first encounter this.
Right.
So as a player, you're just kind of like, okay, all right,
Yeah, exactly.
I just took a bunch of severed body parts off a cross and I'm throwing them in a bin labeled fuck toys. Very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it's Scarlet Lodge is kind of almost this like anarchist, like heathen party. Like nobody cares. It seems to be ungoverned. And it doesn't matter if you die. It's like
Yeah.
pleasure, but at what cost? Essentially.
Yeah,
Yeah, very
it seems
weird.
like they own like the government of that area. Like
Yeah.
they like Bleakmore is fully under the control of the Scarlet Lodge, so they can
That
get
yeah.
away with anything. So
Yeah, that seems to be true. And yeah, you are quote saved by members of the cult of ecstasy. And the game does try to, you're right, they're more intellectual about it, they're more artistic about it. They're not, you're probably not going to die if you have if you have sex with somebody in the cult of ecstasy,
yeah.
at least not right away. um
Yeah, I mean, twist, the cult of ecstasy is evil too.
They're evil too. Yeah. I mean, with all these stories of similar stories of like who wants the most power, there's often not a good guy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Especially when something is inspired by the likes of Hellraiser and H.P. Lovecraft and the art of like H.R. Giger. It's not gonna be. Everyone's a villain.
Yeah.
Essentially, there's really no good guys here. Um,
So
so yeah, both of them have ill intent. Just one goes about it in maybe a less violent way.
so in this cult of ecstasy mansion,
Which I don't know if you got this, but it did heavily remind me of Eyes Wide Shut, which is a Kubrick film with Nicole Kidman, Tom Cruise. Everyone's like
yes,
wearing a mask. You are not, I guess, because I think at first you are just kind of in shock, as you would be, right? You've basically been kidnapped. You've been taken
right,
hostage by
and then you
two
find out
people.
Lily's been kidnapped by the Scarlet Lodge, and so all you want to do is get back to Lily.
Yeah.
So that's your focus right now. You don't care about Lusca, or you don't care about any of this stuff.
Yeah, you don't really
just care
Yeah.
about getting home, getting away from all this, finding Lily, saving her, and getting the fuck out.
Yeah.
I think when I first got to this mansion, I was like, okay, this game might get good now.
That's what I thought too, because I was like, I love a mansion setting. I want to get to know some of these characters that are staying at the mansion.
And for all this game's flaws, and I think, and it has a lot, and I think that it doesn't have great dialogue.
No.
The characters are fairly well realized. I think I can tell you the personalities, the backstories, the motivations, the secrets, and how the secrets affect the motivations of basically every character every named character in this game.
Yeah.
I think the characters are really well realized.
I think so too. And I liked being in that mansion with the other characters. It was kind of just this mansion of misfits, right? And I did enjoy that aspect of it. I wanted to know more about the characters. It was almost like being in a sideshow, like a freak show.
Yeah.
It's kind of what it was like, but it was cozier than that.
And it was like a dusty old mansion with a bunch of weird knickknacks around and some puzzle boxes and some like diegetic puzzles. Mostly the diegetic puzzles were to find secrets that weren't plot relevant.
Yeah.
And like that's I don't know. I guess I thought that was going to be part of the game, and then it just in between there would be some fuck scenes.
Yeah.
But which, I wasn't that excited for. Like that's not fictional 3D people aren't what does it for me. Yeah. I tend to like human beings.
Yeah.
That tends to be the thing that turns me on in my life. But
I do understand, like I like erotic art. I think there's merit to that. And I even like erotic media as a way to bolster your sexuality. Like, I like playing
I
erotic games with my partner, with any kind
Sure.
of partner. I think that's very. Don't play Leisure Suit Larry 7. They'll never call you again. I'm just putting that out there.
Sure. So I do, and
Don't
I
do
do
that.
think I don't love that stuff. It doesn't do anything for me. Mostly I either find it funny or yucky,
Yeah.
but, and this is going to make me come across as a prude. I might as well just say this is maybe I'm a very in my life I'm a very sexual person. I don't know if you guys want to hear that or not.
Oh
Sorry,
boy.
it's episode 69. In my life I'm a very sexual person, but this is not a thing that does it for me.
Yeah. I'm going to piggyback on that and say I am also a very sexual person. I'm open about it, so I don't care if people wanted to hear it or not. They probably already know. And this also did not do it for me. This is not
Well,
what I would seek out as an effective erotic art piece, you
well,
know?
I mean to say something a little broader because this particularly,
Okay.
but I mean there's probably no sexual video game, no pornographic video game that's going to arouse me.
Yeah. I think there would be for me,
Mhm.
especially if I played it with somebody else, if it was well done. But this is not
Yeah.
it. This is not it. And I maybe that could be because it is trying to be a little more horror erotic than simply erotic. There is something, again,
Mhm.
you're not meant to find Hellraiser completely sexy, right? Maybe the characters do in the story. They think what they're doing is sexy and ultimate pleasure. I'm not
Right.
sure if the viewer is supposed to really connect with it like that because it's more on the body horror side. So I don't even find this like I don't even put this on the same level of other erotic games because
Right.
I'm just working so hard trying to get through these action parts, these weird parts, these erotic parts. Like
But
it's a lot.
me and you were trying to figure this out before we started recording, and we
Mhm.
read a bunch of reviews of this game that seemed to think otherwise. That
I
seemed to
know.
find this game sexy. And look, if you are a fan of Lust from Beyond, we want to hear from you, and we're not going to judge you. And we'll
Of
get
course
back
not.
to the recap in a minute, but we're not going to judge you. We would be legitimately curious. We might, poke fun at you in a playful way, but
Yeah.
we would be legitimately curious. Number one, if you're a fan of this game, what you like about it. But number
Yeah.
two, if this game horns you up, why?
Why? Yeah, why?
Feel
What
free to
about
write
it
in
was sexy?
completely anonymously, or, we will keep you anonymous if you write
Yeah.
in.
Like the majority of interactive like erotic stuff I've played is not action heavy. So like for me, I I really do feel like I'm simply just playing another
Yeah.
action game. You know, with other erotic games, there's usually more of an emphasis on like interactive fiction or dating
And
sims. Those are very narrative and dialogue heavy. This is like, hang on, I gotta go find the gem in Lusca and I gotta run through this corridor for 500 years, and that's very
yeah,
distracting.
I'm getting slapped with big dicks sticking out of the
Yeah.
ground.
And
You
it's
get
not
slapped with big
sexy
dicks
because I
in
just
Liska.
died.
Yeah,
I'm just so frustrated.
they're just like tentacles, but
Yeah.
everything in Liska is supposed to be of sexual imagery, so it's like you're getting
Yeah.
slapped with dicks.
I was starting to
Giant
honestly
dicks.
get very infuriated with the
Yeah.
gameplay. So it was hard for me to find anything about it like engaging on that level, on a sexy
Mhm.
level, because I'm just trying to run around and serve.
And
This is still survival horror. This is still a survival horror game.
the sex scenes, the interactive sex scenes are very few and far between. They are QTEs. They are quick time events, meaning when you are fucking, you get little prompts up on the screen that you have to hit a button press at just the right time
Yeah.
to come.
I want to know
That's
what happens when you mess it up because like I'm a gamer. I'm
you
not going
just
to
go
mess
back to
this up.
you just go back to fuck. It de-escalates.
Oh.
I've messed it up. And it just de-escalates.
Okay.
Like
Okay,
he
I
just goes
see.
back to having sex slowly or whatever.
Okay, got it.
So
I don't know. I didn't know if there was like a way to lose.
and she's like,
The
"Ow!"
sexy-
Oh, and you know what? I will say that there you can, as the main character, you are a dude, a cisgender dude named Victor. this game's not great about representation. There's not a lot of different body types. There's not
No.
a lot of different except for one specific scene in the game. Basically everybody's white.
Yeah.
But it is good about sexuality.
Yeah.
As
It shames no one. It judges no one.
as Victor, you can have sex with men and women
Yeah.
in the course of the game. There is a trans character. There's not even a mention of it. The only reason you know that they're trans is that she's trans is you see her naked at one point.
Right.
So, on this level, it is, like I do think that is, somewhat commendable.
Yeah.
Because I think that a porn game, especially a porn game where so much is done poorly,
Yeah.
I guess we do have to. This shouldn't be an achievement. It shouldn't be an achievement just to not be homophobic or whatever. But we got to give them any kudos we can because.
And I do give them kudos for that. I give them kudos for that. I give them kudos for making female sexually liberated characters.
Sure.
That are not shamed, that are sure about
Powerful
themselves.
female characters.
Powerful. I do think that's important because let's even be honest. Even more broadly, porn in general can be very problematic. Not just like video game, not just like porn erotic video games, but just porn in general. Anything like that can be
about representation.
Yeah, about representation. It could be exploitative. This was really not that. I think it exploited other things, but it was pretty on point with it being sexually liberated. Like while you're playing, you kind of do get the idea that I'm sexually liberated. I can play this game. Yeah, it's kind of nice in that way, and again, non-judgmental and. When it's not being gross, it's being more powerful, more sure about itself.
So you're in this mansion. You decide it's time. You need to go back and save Lily because you find out that the Scarlet Lodge has kidnapped Lily. So you and another one of these characters, you sneak back. This is a stealth action sequence that sucks.
Again, yep.
You're going through the underground areas of this theater, and basically you're doing a bunch of puzzles and stuff. What you find out, you get captured by the Scarlet Lodge again, and you find out that Lily was an agent of the Scarlet Lodge the whole time.
Yeah, which there is a lot of foreshadowing to that.
Right.
Yeah.
They found out very early on in your life that you were a seeing one. They have like people looking for seeing ones all over the world, I guess, or the country at least. And you're one that they found, and so they had Lily track you down and prepare you for this. So again, puts the rape scene earlier into a slightly different context,
right?
Because she's clearly in the time that you do that. She doesn't have anything to do with your possession that causes you to do that, but she is trying to unlock your violent sexual side. Right. So it's just like she's doing it secretly and subtly. So it does put it in a slightly different context. I don't know if it like repairs the weirdness of the scene, but
it might repair some of the characters' like intention. It doesn't repair the upsettingness of it. It's still an upsetting scene,
right? Because you don't know that
repair that.
You don't know that at the time, and also while you know that Lily is not opposed to violent sex, and she's again trying to turn you into a violent sex monster, you do not know. We don't know how much she's part of what happens to you in that moment. Like it could be part of her scheme, or it could be completely shocking and unknown to her. Yeah. And even though she's like evil and trying to turn you into this person, that doesn't mean she deserves sexual violence.
Right, of course. Yeah.
So it's really hard to tell.
It is hard to tell.
It just makes it messier.
Okay, so you do get back to the Scarlet Lodge, try to find Lily. You get captured. We find out that she is an agent. She seems cold about it at first. She even gives you a key to Victor's shocked. Victor loves Lily. He is distraught. But she gives you a key to your shackled. You're shackled down at one point, so you can like get up and maybe try to escape. She tells you not to follow her, but you do follow her.
Of course.
Of course you do, because you're in love with her. And you kind of you start talking to her, and she has this admission that yeah, you're right. You know what? This was a mission at first. I was following orders from Dr. Austerlitz, but I did fall in love with you and I do love you. And she stands up and she starts to turn around, and the person who came to the lodge with you shoots her dead.
Yeah.
And this is where kind of I think it's a catalyst for a lot of change in the protagonist, because up until that point, he didn't want to stay at the Cult of Ecstasy. I don't think he cared about his visions or being a seeing
No.
one or getting, finding the lust from beyond. Like,
And
he didn't care about that.
he's a horny and violent guy, so I think this stuff appealed to him on some level, but yeah, I don't think that he just wanted to be back home in his normal life with Lily. And in an argument a lot of the other characters have been making is like, you've left that life behind, and like you are, like, how can you unknow this stuff that you now know, and you have this power. So like,
and you can't trust Lily; she would have betrayed you anyway. And not very many sympathetic characters after this woman he loves gets shot.
You mentioned catalyst, and I think it's also important to mention there are a couple turning points here. You do catch Austerlitz, Dr. Austerlitz, and you hear his whole story, that he's been doing this again because when he was involved with the the Cult of Ecstasy before, he and some other people ended up in Lustgau. They all went crazy.
Right.
Excuse me. They all went crazy and it ruined their lives.
Yeah.
He went crazy, but he, I guess, got better or something. And yeah, he's been doing all this to destroy or lock off Lustgau forever. And so you can kill him or you can let him live.
What did you do?
I let him live because you mentioned there was a good ending and a bad ending. So it's like, let's just try to be a good guy every chance I get.
Yeah.
Then the person who kills Lily, Jonathan, you can either kill him or let him go.
Yeah.
And of course I let him go for the same reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like there's a time jump.
Yeah.
And it's a year later and you're just a member. Half a year later, you're just a member of the cult and you've just been fucking and researching for half a year.
Yeah, and you're into it now. Like, you're like, all right, gotta go to the rituals, gotta do the thing, gotta talk to Amanda. Like, you are now accepting that you are seeing one, you are part of this cult.
Yes. It's already clear at this point there's something else a little weird. One of the characters, Mabel, starts warning you about Lily. Or not Lily. Amanda.
Who is the most powerful seeing one up until you. She's extremely, she can really interact with Lustgau. She has these visions, and she wants to get to she wants to get beyond Lustgau and go to this other setting, this other world known as Zuthar.
The other thing you learn is that there's been a bunch of seeing ones that have come and gone. A lot of them have died.
Yeah.
And recently, a couple of them that were doing just fine have disappeared.
Yeah.
Also, it's important to say Jonathan is Amanda's husband. And when Jonathan kills Lily, he's like, I can't let what happened to me happen to you.
Right.
So at this point, hey, it's fucking obvious. Amanda's evil too.
Yeah. At the very, evil and also kind of driven by power. Reading all these ancient texts and documents and, wondering again how she can get like what kind of power and ecstasy she can bring to the world, but at what cost, once again, because it's not going to end good. It's there's something where don't we have to like purge the world? Maybe not purge. Purge is maybe not the right word.
Well, yeah, what she wants to do is she wants to like bring one of these gods to this world to open up the gate between the two worlds and thus flood all of humanity with eternal ecstasy. It's basically like a fucking lobotomy to the world, right? Like everybody, she mentions things like everybody you've ever known will be like locked in eternal ecstasy. So basically, people aren't going to have free will or free thought or the range of human emotions anymore.
Like, so why though? That's what that's what I want to know. Why? How is it ecstasy if you don't have any free will? What is the point of this lore?
I think that's the point that they're getting at, right? Like, I think So Amanda was used by the previous person who ran the cult of ecstasy, who
Mhm.
everybody kind of agrees was an evil person.
Okay.
And she was like, she had sex with one of the gods, and that's what she has got like a baby that's like a half like demon thing.
But she, like, miscarried it or something?
Yeah, this
Yeah.
part, I'm not saying this part doesn't make sense. I actually think it probably does. I'm just saying I didn't read this stuff as closely as I
Yeah.
should have. But yeah, I think it's like she miscarried. We're led to believe she miscarried. She actually didn't. She had this baby. It lives in Luska now, and it's like a weird demon guy. And this is what drove her to this kind of like brink of insanity.
It just sounds like it's one of those stories where no matter what you do in this world, when you unlock these gates and go into these settings, you are going to lose it no matter how well intentioned you were, because it does make implications that Amanda and Jonathan were kind of good, sensible people at
Yeah,
some point, right? And then they
right.
get, and then they get kind of involved in this and they just lose their minds. It's that old story of like things that are beyond our comprehension can drive us crazy.
Yes, and I think that's what this game is trying to drive at, this idea that there's like the sensations of pain and the sensation of pleasure are not that far removed from one another, which is a little bit of that fiction babble that
Yes.
I've talked about, the poetic babble that I've talked
Yes.
about before. Like, obviously, all of us know the difference between pleasure and pain, but if somebody says to you in a poetic way, like, oh, the boundaries between pleasure and pain are thin, and like they could say it in a poetic enough way where you're kind of like, yeah, sure, okay, I can buy it for the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then you think about it for a while and you're like, wait, no, I know the
Yeah,
difference
not
between
really.
pleasure and pain. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's some other things like lust and anger aren't that far apart as emotions. I think that's probably kind of true.
Sure.
I think the idea of horror and pornography are not that dissimilar
Sure.
endeavors. I think that's also kind of true. I think like a lot of the comparisons it's drawing, a shock and intrigue, right? Like, ooh,
Right.
do I find that interesting or do I find that disgusting?
Right.
Right? Is not that different. So I think a lot of the things it's trying to draw aren't wrong.
Yeah. Even like the concept of what is attractive, what is beauty is kind of brought up. When you first go to Luska, Amanda shows you Luska. She kind of helps you to navigate it. And she's like, "Look at this beautiful
Oh,
setting. Isn't it
right.
beautiful? Don't you find it amazing?" And he's like, "No, I find it horrible and terrifying and ugly." And
Yeah.
just the whole concept of what people find beauty, I think, has always been really intriguing to me, especially as specifically a visual artist. I think it's so easy to appreciate something pretty versus
Mhm.
something, quote in quotes, ugly. I like that kind of
Yeah.
challenge. I like that kind of concept and that challenge.
I think
Um,
that's yeah, I think you're absolutely right that that's all throughout this game is
yeah,
like the blurred line between the grotesque and the beautiful.
yeah,
And like there's things like the Hieronymus Bosch painting, The Garden of Earthly
hmm,
Delights,
yeah,
is hanging in the mansion,
yeah.
and other art that I don't know by name.
Yeah, I
But
I I noticed like the girl with the pearl earring by Veneer was in there as well, or an iteration of it,
and
let's
girl
say.
with girl with the pearl earring even is about beauty and eeriness
Yeah,
at the same time. And I think even in the artworks it's referencing, I think there's things to be taken
yeah, I think
from
so
this
too.
game. My problem with it is just that it is not at any point enjoyable.
Yeah,
And I've seen all these points made more eloquently in other places,
hmm,
including the artworks
yeah,
that are being
yeah,
referenced in this game. Like, and like you keep saying, Hellraiser. Hellraiser is about these creatures that come from a dimension in which pleasure and pain are the same sensation.
right.
And the movie constantly weaves sex and horror and violence and eroticism
Hmm.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, it's just it's all been done
Yeah, more effectively.
more effectively.
Yeah. And
I just
even the, the Lovecraft and Cthulhu stuff, I'm just so tired of it. I don't hate it. I've played my fair share of HP Lovecraft inspired games, and I've liked them. I'm just tired when it's kind of this samey nature of I guess the ancient ones and characters with tentacles on them, and I'm like, I'm just a little tired. I'm just a little tired of it.
I think, like you were saying earlier, you said you like Lovecraftian stuff when it's more subtle. I think I
Yes.
go either way. These days, what appeals to me is either a direct interpretation of a Lovecraft story
Mhm.
or a very subtle weaving in of Lovecraftian
Yeah.
ideas. I'm not sure that I love this. It's just like Lovecraftian fiction
Yeah.
the way maybe I did 10 years ago.
Yeah. That's fair.
So I'm just going to read some random shit out of my notebook
Sure, go ahead.
that I either liked or hated. Let's see. The load times were fucking terrible.
I was shocked. I was really shocked about the load times. And like, I guess we're kind of spoiled these days because, load times were pretty bad when I was growing up on
Yeah.
video games, but they're not anymore.
No.
And I was kind of shocked. I was shocked that the load times were as long as they were.
And there's not save slots. Like you
Yeah.
can't manually save. So sometimes you die. There was this horrible sequence. One of the last action sequences that isn't a boss fight. There's like 3 boss fights in this game.
Yeah.
Is very long and very involved. And also involves you. This happens 3 times in the game. You get all your inventory taken away. And instead of picking it all back up at once, they're all individual objects inside a chest. So you have to
Yes.
bend down and go
Yes.
pick up, pick up, pick up.
Oh, I
pick up,
hated
pick
picking
up,
things up
pick
in this
up,
game.
pick up.
I hated opening drawers. I hated opening cabinets.
There's so many cabinets and drawers, and most
And
of
there's
them are
nothing in
almost all of
them.
them are empty. And every now and then one isn't. So you
You
have to
know
open
what
all
that
of them.
does to an adventure gamer like me? To open a really cool looking armoire
Yeah.
and there's nothing,
Yeah.
it destroys me inside.
So
Horrible.
sometimes your checkpoint will be so far back and you have to wait
Yeah.
through these very long load times and then have to do it all over again. It's horrible. Also, cutscenes. If you press any 2 buttons, and I was playing this all on a controller, if you press any 2 buttons, it just automatically skips.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And you don't have to hold. There's not a yes or no.
Yeah.
And then there's always a autosave right after a cutscene. So if there's a cutscene I wanted to see and I missed it, then I have to sit
Right.
through a really long fucking loading screen, and then
Yes.
it autosaves, and that cutscene's gone, and there's no chapter select, so I can't. So that's
there
frustrating.
needs to either be chapter select or save slots.
This game has that horrible problem in some platforming games where your character can't even climb like a little if there's a little ledge in front of you,
Mhm.
you have to go 5 minutes
Yeah.
around through some series of puzzles to get up onto the ledge.
Yep.
You're like, you couldn't have just stepped a little bigger.
Maybe a little hop. Just a little one.
Oh, here's a note that I wrote. I'm the wet bandit of video games. Here's what I mean by that. Do you remember the wet bandits in Home Alone?
Yes. Yeah, where they would go in and put people's faucets on and just
If
leave
there's
it
a
running.
faucet in a video game, I turn it on and leave it running. Every time.
How dare you? The water bill.
Everybody's
funny.
wearing masks in this game, and the masks are super cool. The masks are very cool. I like them.
Yeah, I like the masks. Yeah, for sure.
I want to get all of this out so I never have to think about any of this again. I almost quit the game when I had to watch the man shitting while I was getting a blowjob. I had to hit QuickTime prompts while getting a blowjob while watching a man shit on a woman and her rub it into her chest.
I didn't see that scene, and I am glad.
You're right, because you watched some playthroughs for some parts of it.
For some parts of it, yeah.
They were censored.
I played about 8 hours of the game, which is
Yeah.
more than enough to talk about. And then I watched some of the action parts, and they are spliced in with sexual parts too. So I didn't know when a action scene was going to end. So I just watched, a few of the scenes, and I
I didn't
also watched both endings so I can
I
see
didn't
both of
mean
them.
to call you out here. I just wanted
Oh,
people
it's
to
okay.
know that I didn't choose to watch the man shitting. This wasn't like when you said, "Oh, I didn't watch that scene." It's not like there was a pop-up at one point where it's like, "Do you want to watch a man shit for a while
Yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
not?" And Matt clicked yes and Roses clicked no. That's not I just
No,
didn't want that to
it
be my
it just so happened that the play and this makes sense, but the playthrough I watch, I didn't know this at first, was uncensored, or sorry, was
was
censored.
censored.
It was
Yeah.
censored. So, and that makes sense. Can't really put that kind of stuff up on YouTube, especially what you just described. So, and I didn't even know that. So when I was watching some of the playthrough, I was texting you. I'm like, I don't get it. There's like nothing in here. And now you're telling me about this scene, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
playthrough was definitely, they were playing the censored version.
There's two things that this game does that I absolutely loved.
Okay.
Number one, when you go to Lustga with Amanda, the first time you go there with her, and she's like showing you the puzzles that you
Yep.
have to solve in order to open a door,
Yeah.
Victor says, "Do you have to do this every time you come here?"
Yes.
Which is something I talk about all the fucking time.
Yes.
Why would your living room require you to solve a slider puzzle to get into it? Like,
Every single
what happens if
time.
you wake up in the middle of the night and have to go through the living to get to the kitchen to get a glass of water? You
Yeah.
just sit down and solve a slider puzzle? That drives me crazy. The reason they say is like Lusca shifts and changes every
Yeah.
time.
Because
And
it's living. Yeah.
of course, you do end up going back to the same place in Lusca a couple times,
Yep.
and it doesn't change at all. So,
Nope.
lastly, for a game that me and you hate, it does our favorite thing. You do have to find a loose crank at
It's
one
true.
point.
It's true, you guys.
You
There
find it in a
is a loose
pile of
crank.
dead bodies. And you use it to lower a naked dead woman from the ceiling and take a golden hand out of her mouth.
Yeah. Yep.
But, yep, loose crank.
Loose crank. And not even the sexual kind. Like an actual lever.
There are severed penises in this game, so
There sure
there are some loose cranks.
I guess there are some loose ones.
And
my
a
God.
lot of dildos.
So many. Oh my God, so many. And
Everybody
again,
has, this is a thing you could find. You get access to each of the characters' rooms at different times, at different points in the game.
Yes.
So everybody's room has a dildo that is custom to them.
Yeah.
That says something about their personality. And every time you pick it up, he says, "Looks like I found Mabel's little friend."
Yeah.
Looks like I found Sabinian's little friend. Looks like I found Amanda's little friend.
Oh
like
my
every
God.
single time. You know what? That makes me. There's one other thing I want to say.
Yeah,
Another
go
thing
ahead,
this game
please.
is good at, which
Yeah.
is environmental storytelling.
Sure.
There are some things in this game, objects that go unremarked upon,
Yeah.
that reveal things about the characters in the story.
True. That's true.
There's times that you find something in a drawer, like a mask in a drawer, and you don't know what it is until much later. And you're like, if you really stop and think about it, you're like, oh, wait, I bet that's this person's mask. And the fact that it's in this person's room means this.
Yeah.
You could make certain inferences like that at different points.
Yes.
If you wanted to, if you cared enough.
Yeah. It's very detailed, and like for me, it is overly stimulating. It's overly detailed, but I do appreciate those items that were designed and placed to benefit the characters, character design and the world building.
Before we've said too many nice things about this. Just to go back to it, this game sucks to play, and it sucks to play the whole way through. It feels bad. It looks bad.
It's not fun, you guys. Like
I wanted
it to be fun. There were parts where I thought it was going to give me kind of that adventure gamey scratch that I was looking for, or that cozy scratch at least. But it's not fun. It's clunky. There's so much running, you guys. There's just the world is too big. Or just hard, or just too complicated to navigate. And I really started to get frustrated with the settings.
And it's not sexy enough for a sex game. It's not scary enough for a horror game.
Like
And
I said, I went into it with no preconceived notions. I even texted you saying I might like this game if it's giving me a vibe, and then that was kind of quickly just shat on.
it put me literally, and it put me in a bad mood.
Oh my god, me too.
I didn't realize for, a couple of days, like, man, I'm not feeling good this week. And not like
Yeah.
super depressed, just kind of like grumpy, just kind of like and I didn't realize why until I think last night I realized it, and then today I was just out of like I realized I was like completely not in control of it. I just like
Yeah.
didn't really want to talk to anybody and want to do anything. Like I was just kind of grumpy.
Me too.
And it was
Yeah.
like I think it was just because I knew I had to play this game, I knew to talk about this game,
Yeah.
and I just like was doing something that I just felt, and I've played bad games don't normally do this to me.
Yeah. Or even,
It's
even similarly to just to make a comparison, you don't always feel this way after a bad movie or a sad movie or a complicated movie. You'll have feelings about it, but it's not often where I'm just so cranky and
because
just like frustrated.
it's like I'm frustrated, and at the same time I just had to watch a man shit on a woman's chest.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I'm bored, and at the same time I just had to listen to squelching noises for an hour.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's this combination of I'm grossed out and bored
Yeah.
and frustrated and disappointed. Like I'm all sorts of things.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
I agree. I agree. And I want to end it by saying I do understand that there still, I will say, just to reiterate, there is a lot of thought put into this. I can
Mhm.
tell it's not just slapped together or anything like that. It does seem like themes are on the table here. I just didn't like playing it. And I
Yeah.
think it does have potential. I think with some polish, with some better mechanics, it could be a good horror erotic game.
Mhm.
But yeah, if I have to run anywhere else, like slashing a knife around, I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. How many times did you jack off while playing this game? Like a fucking 24?
0
Hell
times.
yeah, man.
What's the opposite of pleasuring yourself? Because whatever that is, that's what I was doing.
Playing this game.
I think I
You know
was
what? You know what's
torturing myself.
you know what is pleasureful? I'm hitting uninstall right now, and
Oh!
it is no longer on my computer.
Honestly, I need to do that because it took up a lot of gigs. It's like 4 gigs, which I know like these days isn't that large of a file, but I'm
When
an
you're us and
editor.
you have 1,000 video games on your computer.
Yeah, and also I have all these videos
Yeah,
on
yeah, yeah.
my computer, so these gigs matter to me. I'm sorry, I need
So
them.
next week we'll play another better scary game.
Yeah, a spooky
Um,
game.
I don't know if we'll ever play a sexy game again. I mean, well, I'm sure we'll play games that are incidentally sexy, but I don't know
Sure.
that we'll ever play another porn game. Hope you
Such a
enjoyed
headache.
episode 69, everybody.
69. They're not bits.
This should have
They're
been
not
a
bits and bobs. They're just numbers.
this should have been a fucking celebration. And instead, now we gotta wait until episode 420 to have another funny number.
Oh no. There's got to be another funny number coming up. Is there not?
C8.
See, it's not a number.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to Save Your Game. Sorry, this was a weird one. I also want to know if you guys are like if listening to this has been unpleasant. Like
Yeah.
I
Hope not.
think we talked about this before we started recording. Like
Yeah.
we can't just be on here and complaining because that'll be unpleasant to listen to, and then we'll have played this
Yeah.
game for nothing. But we did do a lot of complaining, so like I hope
No,
that
I
we
think we did a
injected
lot.
enough.
I think we did a lot of criticizing. Yes, I did. I always complain about something, right?
Yeah.
'Cause I have a
yeah.
headache. I have a headache from this game. I'm going to complain about it. But I think mostly we had some pretty decent discussion about, at least the game intention.
I hope so. Let us know how you felt about this episode. And the two ways you can give those to us, well, there's a couple ways. You could leave a comment on our YouTube. You could leave a comment on our Spotify. You could email us, mattandroses@gmail.com, or you could join our Discord. There'll be a link in the show notes.
Yeah. Or you could also follow our Instagram. We post updates. Sometimes we post art. Matt's been good about posting embarrassing outtakes from moi. So it's fun. We have a fun time on our socials.
Yes. Yeah. So, come back next week. There's a game that I am hoping we get to talk about next week, a game I'm really looking forward to that's supposed to come out. If we get a review code for it, there'll be a really exciting kind of came out of nowhere game.
Nice.
That we're talking about next week. Otherwise we'll be talking about a game from a couple years ago that also, that people really loved. So either way, we'll be talking about a good and exciting game next week.
Yes.
All right, so that leaves only one thing left for us to say.
What is it?
This podcast is suffer.
And art is also still suffer. Sorry, guys.
This has been suffer. All right. Bye, everyone.